about right. That's all time. That's all time.
Derek Jeter is top 3 shortstop. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. This is Tanks and Tuddies presented by Tubbs and Frankie. As you can see, no Tubbs this week. He is on a work trip, apparently. I think he's just hiding out after how Thanksgiving went for him, how the game went for him. It was a tough week to be Tubbs this week, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he is not here. He did leave us a video that we'll get to later. I will be watching it for the first time regarding last Thursday's Thanksgiving Day game with the Lions and the Packers. Otherwise, we are going to do locks and long shots as usual. Talk about last week's games, week 13. I'm not really going to touch on college football just because my teams are both out of it. Don't really care. We can touch on the game, Michigan versus Ohio State, for about 10 seconds. And then no parlay this week with Jake not being here. Maybe I might come up, might cook something up for everybody at the end of the show. And then we'll do Paige's picks and talk about the models real quick. So starting up at the top, Jake did give us some locks and long shots for the week. Jake is 33, 42, and 2 on his locks. He went 0-2 last week, had the Raiders plus 10 versus the Chargers. That game ended up being not remotely close. 31-14. Chargers won that one. And then he had the Broncos minus 5.5 at the Commanders on Monday Night Football. Never take a favorite spread on primetime. Those games are gross. It was gross, went to overtime. Broncos won by 1. So 2 losses there. Model had a bad week for him last week. So this week, he's taking the Seahawks minus 7.5 against the Falcons. That's actually down to 7. He's getting a bad line. He's taking the Saints plus 8.5 against the Bucks. He's taking the Bears plus 6.5 against the Packers. Bad pick. And then he's taking the Texans plus 3.5 against the Chiefs. Don't hate that. For long shots, he is 12-38. He's still got the long-term play out there of the Lions beating the Packers in the NFC Championship game by at least 6.5. Newsflash: Lions might not even get to the playoffs to have that alive. So last week he had the parlay for the model plus 253. That loss, obviously, since he went 0-2 on the locks. So this week he's taking the Texans money line plus 150 against the Chiefs. Don't hate it. For my locks, 58-49. If you've been paying attention, that means we had a good week last week. To say the least, 5-0 on the locks. With the hot oven baked turkey lock of the week with the Packers plus 2.5. Yes, they were all Thanksgiving themed. We were giving out great picks for Thanksgiving. Packers plus 2.5 was a hit. They won outright. We had the Chiefs Cowboys over 52.5 as the mashed potatoes lock of the week. That hit. 31-28. Went fairly easy over. We had the stuffing lock at Bears plus 7. They won outright. We had the Saints plus 6 as the yeast rolls lock. They only lost by 4, so that hit. And then we had the Vikings Seahawks under 41.5 corn casserole lock. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Got a dub this week. 5-0 on the locks. Love to see that. This week, all triple diamond locks. I have a lot of them this week. Didn't want to just throw out random stuff, so I'm taking everything that the model loves. And that is 6 different picks. First up, have the Falcons plus 7 versus the Seahawks. I'm not going to lie, I don't love this line. I don't love this game. I don't love the Falcons. But fluke shit has been happening. Saw the Panthers beat the Rams last week at home. Now we get the Falcons at home against what looks like a very good Seahawks team. We know the NFC West can be fluky sometimes. I really like the Seahawks, but the model has the Falcons covering this at plus 7. They actually have the Falcons winning outright in 2 of the 3 models, I believe it was. So maybe I'll sprinkle on Falcons +7. I don't love that, on the Falcons money line. I don't love it, but triple diamond lock nonetheless. Next pick is the Commanders +1.5 against the Vikings. I actually love this one. I don't know who in Vegas has been watching the Vikings play games. They don't have a good quarterback. 9 is not the answer. Max Brosmer is potentially worse. And the Commanders look somewhat decent. They just lost in overtime by 1 to the Broncos on Monday night. There's no reason that the Commanders should not be favored in this game. So give me the Commanders +1.5. I will definitely be taking the money line there, as shown in a little bit in my long shots. Also taking the Colts -1.5 against the Jags. I think this line is skewed for the fact that the Daniel Jones injury and the Colts really just haven't looked that good the last couple weeks. But it is the Jags. The Jags don't really scare me. This game is very much of a fluke bowl. Whoever wins this game doesn't really prove anything. This game is fraud watch. That's what it is. This game is fraud watch. I think whoever loses this game might get a fraud chain on them. Could be very, very fraudulent. The Jags have looked decent all year. Colts have looked phenomenal all year. I think it would be worse if the Colts lost. So I think this is more of a must win for the Colts than it is for the Jags. So give me the Colts -1.5. Taking the Steelers +6 as my next pick against the Ravens. I do want to look into this a little bit because I believe there's a trend with the Steelers and the Ravens splitting the series almost every year. And okay, perfect. This is their first game together. So I do like the Steelers in this game. Again, this is pretty much an against all odds game. Rodgers didn't look good last week. He is playing with a broken left arm. I don't know. The Steelers aren't that good. I think the Ravens are good, but I think they have a very tough schedule. I think they could get in their heads about this game, end up losing this, make the AFC South or AFC North closer than it should be. Take the Steelers +6. Next pick, Broncos -7.5. This is the Broncos versus the Raiders. Raiders are dog shit. I have the Broncos winning by almost 2 touchdowns in every single one of my simulations. I love the Broncos this week. Next up, also huge bounce back week for the Broncos after almost losing in overtime to the Commanders. Next up, Texans Chiefs over 41.5. The Chiefs don't look good. They're kind of in the same boat as the Colts and the Lions, where they could miss the playoffs. They looked not good last week on Thanksgiving. They haven't looked good the last couple weeks. They have not been covering spreads. They have not been blowing teams out. They're not the normal Chiefs that we are used to. Texans defense, very good. Chiefs defense, very good. I think this line is artificially bumped down because of the defenses, because of how the Chiefs have looked recently. But I think there is a point where it is too low. We've seen both of these teams put up points. 21, no, that doesn't actually get it done. 23-21, 24-21, over. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's easy. So give me that over 41.5. Longshots, 31-89. We're getting there. Last week, 2-1. Packers money line is the pumpkin pie long shot that hit against the Lions. And then the Cowboys money line +154 against the Chiefs as the Snicker apple salad long shot that hit. And then we had Wisconsin -6.5 in the battle for the axe, the sweet potato casserole long shot. That lost. That game was disgusting. The weather was gross. We played Hunter Simmons, who should never step on a football field ever again. Lost outright. Whatever. This week, Commanders money line +110 against the Vikings. I already talked about this, so I won't recap there. And then the Texans money line +150 against the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are broken, I want to be on the side against them. So give me the Texans +150. that does it for locks and long shots. Let's go into recapping Thursday. We're going to start off, obviously, with the big game. And I will play Jake's video first and foremost so that he can get his words out. And then we'll come back. I'll live reaction to this one. So let me share here. Also, don't mind the room behind me. I will be moving next week, so it's a mess. Let's make this full screen. And play.
All right, guys. Not able to record this week, so I'm here on a work trip.
Is he
up
naked?
in Bowling. Recording a little feelings video for you for Frankie to play in the pod. As you can hear, I'm in the hot tub in my room. No big deal. It's draining, which is weird. So we're going to make this quick because I might have to turn the water back on to fill this thing up. So, yeah, I'm just here to give you my thoughts on the Lions. Obviously very unfortunate.
First off, Jake, I know you're listening to this. Why did you have to do this in the hot tub? While it was raining, making it sound like you're actually just pissing in the hot tub. 2, why are you shirtless? A little weird. We'll keep going.
Fortunate that couldn't be there this week for Frankie to celebrate the win.
Not unfortunate, you're hiding out.
But yeah, things aren't good right now, guys. They're not good. 7-5, not good. Terrion Arnold done for the year, not good. Jared Goff still a pumpkin. That game on Thanksgiving, very, very winnable. But we got beat, belt to ass. Yep, Packers sweep. Frankie, congratulations. The division is yours again. The Bears are not winning the division. Speaking of the Bears, we should hit this. There's one way the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. And I can't even believe we're to this point, but here we are. By the way, yeah, I'm naked right now. Whatever. Gotta go 4-1, man. Gotta go 4-1. 5 games left. I did take notes. Let me pull up my notes here. So,
please keep it hidden. Thanks.
Lions remaining schedule. Cowboys, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Bears. If they lose to the Cowboys this week, season's over. Pack it up. Hope to lose. Get a better draft pick. If you beat the Cowboys, we're back. The Rams is your one loss. That's allowable. We have had the Rams number in the last couple of years. Yeah, I'm drinking beers. Who cares? Then the Steelers, easy W. Vikings, yeah, we're going to split with 9. Don't know how we lost that game. And then the Bears is a win and in situation because I think the Bears choke. Bears remaining schedule. Packers, that's a loss. Browns could be a loss. Packers, another loss. 49ers, loss. Lions, win and in situation. You're talking 1-3 right there. The Bears are the current number 1 seed. That would knock that. If they lose, they're down to like the 7th seed. Like the NFC is crazy. The only other option is the Niners. I don't see this happening. That's why we're talking about it last. Titans, easy W. Colts, probably a loss. Bears, who knows? And then the Seahawks. So Niners kind of out of it. But it's going to come down to Bears and Lions. And hopefully we can outplay them. The team is banged up. But it's got to happen. I'm going to have to root for the Packers, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is, man. Here we are. I hope we make the playoffs. I can't believe we're in this situation. Time's running out. They got to get it done. Hope is still there. Beat the Cowboys this Thursday. We're good. Lose to the Cowboys. Season's over. Rooting for losses. Thanks, guys. Cheers. I'm going to enjoy this little hot tub / jacuzzi tub I got in my room. And we'll see you next week.
All right. I'm a little weirded out. Not gonna lie, that was a little weird. I will say thanks, Jake, for the congratulations. I'll thank Lions fans for holding down the North for a year-ish. I'll give you guys that. Shout out to Lions fans who went into hiding over the last week. Shout out Stick on X, the everything app, Twitter. Huge Lions fan. I believe his job is for Woodward Sports, does something in Detroit sports media. Had talked shit the entire last 2 seasons about how the Packers team was in poverty, how we were dog shit, how the North ran through Detroit. Detroit was the team to beat, whatever. That's fine last year. Didn't tweet for 2 days leading up to the game. After the game, went silent for 4 days. And his first tweet back was just wanted to say hi to all the Poverty Packers fans checking in, celebrating regular season wins like the Super Bowl. Perfect example of how the mighty Packers have fallen. See you in the playoffs. That was tweeted on November 29th. Since then, he has over 1,000 comments and 142 likes, 1.9 million impressions. That's a bad look. Also, the worst part about this entire thing was he had to pin this tweet to make it his pinned tweet. Before that, he previously had an AI-generated picture of what a Super Bowl parade would look like in Detroit. So, that's, yeah. How the mighty have fallen, one would say. Anyways, my quick recap on this game is Jordan Love, Toyotathon. I forewarned Jake last week. I said you guys are getting the first experience of Jordan Love in Toyotathon this year. And it happened. He did everything he needed to. 18 for 30, 234, 4 touchdowns. What more could you ask for a guy who didn't have Jaden Reed, a guy who didn't have Matthew Golden? He made Dontavian Wicks look like a Pro Bowl wide receiver out there. 6 for 94, 2 touchdowns. Dontavian Wicks makes the game-sealing catch at the end of the game. Balls, absolute balls by Matt LaFleur. I'll give credit where credit is due. Matt LaFleur called a great game this week. I don't know if this was just stepping up to the competition or what it was. It worked out phenomenally. I loved it. Josh Jacobs, okay game. Not really much to say there. Defense was phenomenal. Micah Parsons showed why he is the best defensive player in the league. 2.5 sacks, which were our only. He was involved in every single sack that we had on Thursday. Micah Parsons looked phenomenal. The defense as a whole was great. Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney were great. Keyshawn Nixon, great. No picks, but just a lot of great coverage, breaking up a lot of passes. We did force a fumble, didn't recover it. I think this game would have been a little bit different if Amon-Ra didn't get hurt. I don't think it would have mattered. J-Mo did step up like he should have. Isaac Tesla, Tom Kennedy both stepped up. They looked okay. Goff just wasn't good. 20 for 26, 256, 2 touchdowns. Like, that stat line looks good, but if you watch the game, he just wasn't good. He, like Jake said, he was a pumpkin. I mean, the joke has been running in our group chat now for quite a while how Jared Goff is a literal tree stump in the pocket. And I don't know if there's a better way to personify that. Jared Goff has absolutely zero mobility. And personally, if I'm the Lions, I'm looking to see how quickly I can get a quarterback because Jared Goff might be done for. Other things on this game. Not really much. I'm excited to see the Packers get healthy. I'd like to see the wide receivers fully healthy, Golden and Reed both back. I think that there's going to be so many weapons on the offense. I'd also like the Packers to have a good first quarter for once. We just never come out ready for the game, which is weird. Jordan Love though. I sprinkled on Jordan Love to win the MVP this week. think it was plus 2,000, something like that, plus 1,900. So we'll see how that goes. It is Toyotathon. Anything can happen. Lions looking forward. Jake's got his hopes up for them to make the playoffs. I personally think that they probably don't have that great of a shot. If I was looking at their schedule and had to make a prediction right now, I think they lose to the Cowboys on Thursday. I think that Amon-Ra doesn't end up playing. That alone is going to be a huge, huge deficit. I don't think the Lions defense is that great. I think the Cowboys will be able to score at ease. I'm expecting a shootout, but I could see this being a 35-31 game. Something like that with the Cowboys coming out on top. It is at home for the Lions, so they do have that. Then they go at the Rams. That's 100% a loss. They're not winning that game. Steelers at home. Toss-up game. Vikings at the Vikings. I hate the Vikings. I hate 9. I don't think he's good. I don't think the Vikings are a good team at all. But in Minnesota, depending on what the offenses look like, they already lost once. Like, what's at home too? Like, what's stopping the Vikings from winning again? And then the Bears at the Bears. I don't think they win that game. They blew the Bears out the first time. That's week 18 right there. I think the odds for the Lions to make the playoffs right now are around 30%, like statistically around 30%. I think that's very accurate. I genuinely think the Lions are not making the playoffs, which is sad, but it is what it is. I'm not going to shed any tears over it. Also, quick note, when we do Pages picks, everybody fills out their picks. Week 10, Packers-Eagles. Jake put the Eagles, and then he said start the spiral for the Packers. Since he said that, the Packers are 3-1 with their only loss being to the Eagles. The Lions are 2-2 and now potentially out of the playoffs. Also, other update, over under 11.5 wins for the Bean Boozled bet. The Lions would need to, I think it was 11.5, I'm pretty sure. Lions would need to win out for Jake to not have to do the Bean Boozled challenge. The Lions are not beating the Rams, potentially not beating the Cowboys. Therefore, Jake looks like he's got a Bean Boozled challenge coming up for him. All right, that does it for that game. Other Thursday games, honestly, Thanksgiving games were great. All the underdogs won. The Packers, obviously, with the first one. Cowboys beating the Chiefs in an absolute shootout. 31-28. Great game. I don't think there was a lot to say about this one. CD finally ascended back to the lead role over Pickens. Other than that, I mean, it was just a back and forth game. No defense could really stop him. This is part of the reason, maybe it's a recency bias of why I'm taking the Chiefs over this week. Granted, the Cowboys offense is probably, actually, no, it's definitely a lot better than the Texans, but they can give up points. So, and then the nightcap was the Bengals-Ravens. Joe Burrow comes back and just fucking flops his dick down on the Ravens. 32-14. Burrow throws 46 times. 24-46, 261, 2 touchdowns. This could have been so much higher scoring. The Bengals kicked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 field goals. Let's see where they're from. 41 yards, fine. 52 yards, fine. 33 yards, probably could have went for that one. 24 yards, definitely could have went for that one. 42 yards. Could have went for that one. And the first one was 31 yards. So out of the 6 field goals that they kicked, they probably could have went for 4 of them. There were multiple chances at the end zone. They just couldn't convert. I also placed a bet on this. I think we need to keep an eye on the Cincinnati Bengals. There is still a path for them to win this division. This division is gross. The Ravens have not pulled away. The Steelers have not pulled away. The Bengals are sitting at 3rd and 4-8 and could win the division at 4-9 if everything goes right. So I did sprinkle on that. Joe Burrow's back. This team is fully healthy outside of Higgins. Higgins is not healthy. But Higgins could be back here within the next couple weeks. Chase Brown's gotten it going. Samaje Perine is kind of filled in as a great backup. I don't understand what's going on with the Ravens. If this is just the typical Ravens, can't win big games. But yeah, Joe Burrow's back, and I think the Bengals might be dangerous. So keep an eye on that game. That wrapped up Thursday's games. If you're still here, go like, subscribe to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcast, follow the podcast so that you get all of our notifications and updates for when we release new episodes on Thursdays. Friday's game, Bears-Eagles. This game was such a love-hate for me. I did not want to see the Bears win, but I also didn't want to see the Eagles win. I guess it's fine that the Bears won because now the Packers can just kill their season. I don't understand what happened to the Eagles defense. They went from a team who was not letting anybody run on them to allowing 281 rushing yards. Kyle Monangai rushes for 130. DeAndre Swift rushes for 125. That should not happen. A.J. Brown finally got involved, though. I guess that's a win for the Eagles. I think the thing that pissed me off the most about this game was we've been saying the Bears are frauds. The Bears are frauds. They're not good teams. They haven't played anybody good. They haven't beaten anybody good. And then they go out and beat the Eagles on the road on primetime. Bad luck for us Bears haters. My biggest thing I could say about this is Caleb Williams is not that great still. 17 for 36, 154 yards and a pick and a touchdown. But I'm not afraid of the Bears still. If the Bears can beat the Packers, then maybe. But until they do, I'm not afraid of them. Sunday's games real quick. 49ers stomped the Browns. Nothing good there. The Jags stomped on the Titans. Texans Colts. Texans win that game. I think that was late. They went on a field goal. No. Texans scored a touchdown at the start of the fourth quarter. Gave up field goal middle of the fourth quarter to make it a 4-point game. I don't understand how far was that field goal. 42 yards, so they had to go for it. Or they had to kick the field goal. Texans defense, very good. Daniel Jones, very injured. I think there's a real possibility that the Colts could flop and miss the playoffs. They have a very, very, very difficult schedule coming up. They've got the Jags this week at the Jags. Then they go at the Seahawks, home against the Niners, home against the Jags, at the Texans. That is a brutal schedule to end the season. There's a very real possibility that the Colts were a 1 seed 2 weeks ago and could miss the playoffs in the same season. Next game, Dolphins Saints. Dolphins pull out a late win. Devon Achane is awesome. That's the entire summary of this game. I think Tyler Shuck might not be that bad. The Saints probably are not the worst 2-10 team ever. Whatever. Falcons, Jets. This game pissed me off because I did take my diamond locks last week and parlayed them. The Falcons -3 was the last leg. They lost to the Jets on a 56-yard field goal with Tyrod Taylor starting for the Jets. Kirk Cousins, hang up the cleats. You're done. The Jets, you're the Jets. It's whatever. I don't care. Falcons should probably just pack it in. I feel bad for Bijan. Deserves a lot better. Cards, Bucks. Bucks are not healthy, but do sneak away with a win, 20-17 over the Cardinals. Not much to say there. Rams, Panthers. I think everyone and their mother was on the Rams -10.5 this week. Nobody really believes in the Panthers. It's kind of the same as the Bears, honestly. Albeit different records. Panthers are 7-6, Bears are 9-3 now. But the Rams just couldn't stop anything for having such a good defense. I feel like they should have been able to stop Bryce Young, of all people. 15 for 20, 206, 3 touchdowns, and they just couldn't. Also, Chubb Hubbard and Rico Dowdle ran all over them. 164 yards, 83 and 58 for them. Bryce Young added on another 23. So 141 yards total on the Rams defense, which is supposed to be the best defense in the league. One of the best defenses in the league. I'll take this one as a fluke. I don't know. It's hard to say with the Panthers. They kind of just win some games that they shouldn't. I think the Rams bounce back. They'll be fine. Vikings, Seahawks blank the Vikings. No surprise there. Max Brosmer with quite possibly the worst interception in the last decade. That was bad. Go look it up if you haven't seen it. Bills beat the Steelers pretty easily. Josh Allen sets a career mark for rushing touchdowns by quarterback. Steelers might be reeling. Mike Tomlin, some rumors there. He might be out the door. They're probably still going to finish the season 8-9, 9-8, somewhere along those lines because they always do. Chargers beat the Raiders 31-14. Justin Herbert, broken hand, non-throwing hand. A lot like the Aaron Rodgers issue, but be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. I think the Chargers are going to be fighting for a playoff spot too, just based on how the AFC looks right now. Luckily, they do get Amari and Hampton back this week. It sounds like this week. But if they have to go with Trey Lance, I mean, yikes, that is not going to be pretty. And then Sunday Night Football, Broncos, Commanders. I didn't personally watch this. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a Thursday night outside of Thanksgiving or a Sunday night, Monday night primetime. Excuse me. Sunday night or Monday night primetime game. They've been pretty gross. I don't know what to think of the Broncos. I feel like the Broncos have won a lot of close games. I'm going to pull up their schedule. Lost to the Colts by 1, lost to the Chargers by 3, blew out the Bengals with Jake Browning, beat the Eagles by 4, beat the Jets by 2, beat the Giants by 1. Yikes. Blew out the Cowboys, beat the Texans by 3, beat the Raiders by 3, beat the Chiefs by 3, beat the Commanders by 1. Yeah. I don't believe in the Broncos at all. 10-2, and they could easily be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could easily have 6 more losses. So I'd put them 4-8. Honestly, 3-9 if you count the Commanders one in there. Broncos, I would say, are probably a first-round exit this year. They'll make the playoffs, but they're probably a first-round exit. I wonder if I can put money on that. I might have to put money on that. And then Monday night, Patriots, Giants, 33-15. Patriots cruise. Nothing to say on that one. Absolutely nothing. This week, it's Bears week. It is fuck the Bears week. And I want to start it with some Twitter bookmarks that I have. I found one particular person who seems to be delusional on Twitter. There's probably multiple of them because they are Bears fans. The first tweet, I'm just going to read them off first. First tweet says, I legitimately don't understand how any Bears fans think we could split, in quotes, how we could split or lose to Green Bay. There's nothing scary about Green Bay, and anyone who understands team strengths and matchups understands that we heavily match up well against the Packers. We will sweep them 100%. Bookmarked. Next tweet, same person. Packers are about to start a 5-game losing streak, with the Bears going loss, win, 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 loss to finish 12-5. Packers go loss, 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 win to finish 8-1. And he has the lines going win, win, loss, win, win, win to finish 12-5. Already a bad start for him. He says Lions win the NFC North. Bears win a wild card berth. Packers sit at home and twiddle their thumbs. Vikings don't exist during this 9 thing. 9 is spelled Nien. Not sure what that's about. Would love to beat the Lions to win the division, but they slacked us so good the first time. Until we beat them, I need to see it. Give him credit. He has been horrifically wrong through 1 week. He said the Bears would lose to the Eagles. They won. He said the Packers would lose to the Lions. They won, and then the Lions obviously he said would beat the Packers. False. Not doing good there. Second, he says that the Packers are going to lose the next 5 games, which would be against from this tweet it would have been the Lions, the Bears, the Broncos, the Bears, and the Ravens. Put my nuts on the line and say the Packers go 5-0 on that stretch. He thinks that the Bears are going to beat the Packers twice, beat the Browns, and then beat the 49ers. With road games against the Packers the first time and the Niners. I think there's a very real chance that they could lose all of those. And then for the Lions, they're kind of out of the picture on this one, but he thinks that they beat the Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Vikings, and the Bears. I think they probably end that stretch 3-3. Obviously, with 1 loss in there already. So 2-3 in the next 5. Not 2-3. 3-2 in the next 5. I can't wait to expose this fraud. His last tweet. I'll take the high road and not respond individually to every Packers fan who said we would lose to the Eagles. A, because half of you deleted them, and B, because the NFC North runs through Chicago, and C, Caleb Williams owns Lambeau Field. Caleb Williams has 1 win in Lambeau. Let's not forget also that Aaron Rodgers literally is a stakeholder of your entire franchise. Nothing runs through Chicago other than some drugs. When's the last time the Bears have won the division? When's the last time the Bears have been relevant in a division? Nothing runs through Chicago. This is not the Bears' division to lose. The Packers are in second right now, and this is still the Packers' division to lose. Everybody has the Packers winning this division. I don't know a single person that is not a Bears fan that has the Bears winning this division. The Bears will not win this week. Now, do I think they'll cover 6.5 spread? Probably. Packers don't love covering spreads. And that's a lot of points. Packers probably win by 3 or 4. Not gonna lie there. Will it be sweaty? Probably. Am I worried? Absolutely fucking not. I would put my life savings on the fact that the Packers win both games against the Bears. The Bears are not real. They've got some fluke shit going on. They play the Eagles, who have also had some fluke shit going on. This game is the Bears Super Bowl. They'll be up for it. Unfortunately, it's in Lambeau for them. It's the Packers. It's the Packers. if the Packers do lose this game, I will not be here next week. So just throwing that out there. Let's see. How long have we been going here? 39 minutes. Perfect. Let's run. I'm going to cook up a parlay quick, actually. You know what? Let's start with a touchdown score. Let's see what's out there. Touchdown scores. So first games I want to target. I'm not going to target Thursday. Actually, let's look. I think the ones to target this week are going to be Seahawks, Falcons. Seahawks offense, obviously really good. Bengals, Bills, going to be a shootout. I think we could target Colts, Jags. I think we could target the Broncos, singular. I think we could target the Bears, Packers, Rams, Cardinals, potentially. There's a lot of decent games, honestly. And then Texans, Chiefs. I also think we might target. But that's Sunday night, so we'll kind of leave that out. Looking at touchdown scores. Let's check Thursday, potentially. Jamison Williams at plus 105 looks really nice. Isaac Tesla at plus 170 looks really nice. CeeDee Lamb at plus 120 looks really nice. I think we got to go. Okay, I'm throwing CeeDee in there. I don't love taking a Thursday night score for the parlay. It could potentially be killed right away on Thursday. But CeeDee Lamb at plus 120 feels too good to not take in what should be a shootout of a Thursday game. Granted, that's pretty much an oxymoron saying a shootout on a Thursday night game. All right, so we got one leg. I'm going to try and make a four-legger out of this. Let's look Seahawks, Falcons. If JSN is anywhere near plus 120, we're taking him. He's minus 110. Okay, so we're not in on that one. Bengals, Bills. Jamar Chase is minus 140. T. Higgins is plus 130, so it sounds like he'll play. Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, Dalton Kincaid plus 175. Seems easy. Hope he's back. Dalton Kincaid plus 175. I think he sat out last week just so that he could have a fun game this week, which should be a high-scoring game. All right. Colts, Jags. Jonathan Taylor's minus 255. That's disgusting. He has not been good. Skipping that game. Let's check Dolphins, Jets. Devon Achane, minus 140. We could throw that in there. We've got a couple little bit higher odds. Let's take Devon Achane plus one or minus 140. And then let's look at Broncos. Raiders offense is dog shit. RJ Harvey minus 110 or Cortland Sutton plus 170. Let's take RJ Harvey minus 110 and see what we get to. Okay, yeah, I like this. So we're taking CeeDee Lamb plus 120. Dalton Kincaid plus 175. Devon Achane is minus 140. And RJ Harvey is minus 110. Final odds on that. Plus 1880. That is $10 for, I believe that's right. $10 for 198. That is beautiful. Let me place that. And then let's do a four leg. Also, if you're still here, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notifications. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, follow the podcast, follow the stream, leave a comment, 5-star review, something. Four legs. Think we got to start Sunday night. Let's take the Texans, Chiefs over 41.5. I like that. We'll take two totals and two spreads. Texans, Chiefs over 41.5. Let's see. Ooh, Broncos went to 7.5. If that could bump down to 7, I'd take it. Let's take the Dolphins minus 2.5. I don't think the Jets will get it done twice in a row. Dolphins minus 2.5. If I can't find 2 lines, I'm going to get really disgusting with it. Let's see what totals the model has this week. Bengals, Bills under. No. Saints, Bucks under. Let's see what the Saints and the Bucks are against the totals this year. Saints and Bucks game log trends. Saints are 3-9 on over-unders. Tampa is 6-6 on over-unders. Yeah, give me the Saints Bucks under 42.5. Saints Bucks under 42.5. Under 42.5. And then last leg, we need a spread. What is the biggest lock of the week spread? What about, should we just take the Colts? What do we have for noon games? Oh, we got a Sunday night, a noon game, a noon game. So we need an afternoon game. I think I got to do it. Yeah, it's fuck the Bears week. Give me Packers minus 6.5. So, what does this come out to? Let me read through the parlays real quick again. 4-leg, Texans Chiefs over 41.5. Dolphins minus 2.5 against the Jets. Saints Bucks under 42.5. Packers minus 6.5 comes out to plus 11.34. $10 for $123. Recapping the parlays. So just read the 4-leg touchdown scorer. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Kincaid, Devon Achane, RJ Harvey, plus 1880. All right. I think. Oh, I did say I was gonna talk Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State blew them out. Michigan season's over. That's about it. I was all over Ohio State. Jake hated me for it. He said there's no way. Yeah, they killed him. So that's the talk of Ohio State, Michigan. I think that does it for everything except for Paige's picks. So let's run through Paige's picks real quick. Recapping the standings last week. Paige coming in leader in the clubhouse last week, 11-5. I went 10-6. Jake went 8-8. He keeps doing all these, thanks for the free one, thanks for the free one, and then ends up being last that week. So thanks for the free one, Jake. Overall standings, I'm first, 124, 69-1. Some movement here. Paige in second, 117 and 76-1. And then Jake's dead last, 116, 77-1. 5 weeks to play. Got 7 games separating the top spot from everybody, and then 1 game separating second and third place. So only 8 games separates the top from the bottom. Not too bad. That's less than 1 week. Could be swung. Buys this week. Patriots, Giants, 49ers, Panthers. Thursday night, Cowboys at Lions. Lions minus 3, over under 54.5. Paige and Jake are on the Lions. I'm going to take the Cowboys. Sorry, not sorry. I think I'm 3-1 now. I think that's what it is. I'm up to 3-1 when I pick against the Lions. Hopefully I'm 4-1 after this week. Sunday games, Seahawks minus 7 at the Falcons. Over-under is 44.5. We are all on the Seahawks. I think the Falcons cover. Bengals at Bills. Bills minus 5.5. Over-under 52.5. Jake and Paige are on the Bills. I'm on the Bengals. Watch out. Joe Burrow going to get hot. Titans, Browns. Browns minus 4.5. Over-under is 33.5. This is the grossest game of the entire season. Paige says, "Don't both suck, LMAO. I'm gonna take the Titans. I'm gonna take the Browns. I don't really give a shit who wins this game. This game will not touch a TV of mine. Honestly, I'm not even sure if it'll make red zone." Commanders at Vikings. Vikings are -1.5. Over/unders 41.5. We are all on the Commanders. Probably a bad sign. Dolphins -2.5 at the Jets. Over/under is 40.5. We're all on the Dolphins. Saints at Bucks. Bucks are -8.5. Over/under is 42.5. We're all on the Bucks. Colts at Jags. Jags are -1.5. Over/under is 48.5. Paige and I are on the Colts. Jake is on the Jags. Toss-up game, honestly. Don't hate it. I want to check something real quick. Are the Colts actually favored now? Because I have that as yes, the Colts are favored now. The Jags were originally favored. Colts are now -1.5. So Paige and I are on the Colts. Jake is on the Jags. Steelers at Ravens. Ravens are -6. Over/under is 42.5. Paige and Jake are on the Ravens. I'm on the Steelers. There's a reason I'm in the first here. Afternoon games. Broncos -7.5 at the Raiders. Over/under is 40.5. We're all on the Broncos. Bears at Packers. Packers are -6.5. Over/under is 44.5. We're all on the Packers, but Jake says Bears win at home, though, even though I said different in my video. So he's going back. He thinks that the Packers will win this one, and the Bears will win when they're at home in week 16. Wrong. Rams -7.5 at the Cardinals. Over/under 48.5. Jake and I are on the Rams. Paige says, "Shoot, I want them both. I'll go with the Rams, but really want the Cardinals to win, so I should get half a point if they do." We don't do points. We do wins and losses and ties, apparently. So that is not happening. I did offer her a tie. She said no. She wanted a half point. So maybe I'll make an asterisk next to her record if the Cardinals win, which they won't. Sunday Night Football, Texans at Chiefs. Chiefs -3.5. Over/under is 41.5. We're all on the Texans. Another bad sign. Yeah, that's bad. Monday Night Football, Eagles -3 at the Chargers. Over/under is 40.5. Paige and Jake are on the Chargers. I'm on the Eagles. We don't even know if Justin Herbert's playing, so give me the Eagles for sure. If Justin Herbert doesn't play, I'm assuming Jake's going to ask for a flip. He's not going to get it. So that wraps us up, I think. Yep, looks like. Oh, models. Jake's model is 10-7-2 to date. He went 0-2 last week. The data-backed model had a huge week. 12-7 last week, up to 20-14 overall. So, all right, that does it. Hit some tanks, adore some tutties. We'll see you next week. Go Pack Go. Fuck the Bears. The Bears still suck. NFC North runs through Green Bay. Peace.